Hello, everybody, and welcome into today's latest live broadcast. It is Saturday, the 1st of July, 2023. My name is Kerry Holzman. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I've got so much to do. Sometimes when I title these live streams vaguely, it's because I'm not sure which of the mountain of work I've got to do I'm going to do until we're here and the camera's on and I'm forced to have to make a decision. I did, by chance, happen to see a video just before we got started here today from a gentleman who has worked in tech and did the terrible job. Well, let me rephrase. I don't know that he did I don't know that the work he did was terrible, but the kind of work he had to do was terrible, being tech support. And he did that a number of years ago, and he just recently made a video that sort of reiterates, in other words, everything I've been telling you about why tech support, calling them, is so frustrating and mostly a waste of time. And just in case you thought I was making it up, or maybe you doubted what I was telling you was true, when I saw this video, I said, oh, I got to share that with my audience because, one, the guy does a good job and deserves more views on the video. And two, just in case you wanted to hear it from somebody else using different words, the bottom line is it's pretty much the same. So if you look here, why you hate calling tech support, call center secrets revealed. It's only, about 11 minutes long, and I can tell you it aligns with my experience as well. Now, I didn't work in support per se. I worked on the PC building side, but sometimes just for fun, I would jump into the support room and take calls because I was amused by it. And I wasn't under all the pressures of the poor employees that worked in that department who were having their calls timed and measured and everything. Their goal is to get you off the phone as soon as possible. Their goal is not to solve your problem. But when I did it to actually help customers, and I wasn't being timed because I just, if I was caught up with work and I felt like it, I'd go into the tech support room and I'd ask the manager, because they'd have, more seats than they can fill. Say, do you mind if I take a call or two? What are they going to do? Say no? So I'd take a call and I'd just very casually talk with the clients. And I wasn't on the clock, as far as wasn't being timed because what I was doing wasn't part of it's no different like if I was bored and if I was caught up with my work, I guess I should say, and I wanted to help the factory build computers, I just go out to the factory floor. I talk to the manager. I go, hey, do you want me to build one for you today? And they'd always have a backlog. Sometimes they'd come up to me and say, hey, can you help us out today? I know you're busy, but can you put your stuff aside and help us out today on the factory? And there were days where I did that, and they gave me a nice little certificate, and everybody in the factory signed it. It was really rewarding to be appreciated, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So in any event, I know what went on in the tech support department because I've worked in the building, and I worked in a different division where at this company, local customers dealt with me, and the non-local customers dealt with regular tech support. So we were building and selling computers for AutoCAD back in 1991 for a company called TriStar Computer Corporation in Chandler, Arizona. That was my first real tech job. And I was the only technician for the retail store that they decided to open. They're like, why are we shipping computers in state or, even a couple miles down the street? We should have a retail store. If we have a retail store, then we need our own technical department. And apparently Kerry was the entire technical department. Anytime a customer ordered something, the retail store built it, not the factory. If there were any problems from a retail customer from the retail store, it came back to me, or the phone call went to me. So that was nothing compared to what they sold via Computer Shopper magazine, where they would ship, I don't even know how many computers we used to ship a day. I think somewhere around 40 to 60 a day, if I'm not mistaken. It was crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But anyway, it was fun. I really had a good time with that job and a lot of fun people that I worked with. So anyway, when I saw that video, it brought back memories, and I wanted to share that with you guys. And those of you who haven't heard me prattle on about tech support and why it's just a complete waste of time these days. with few exceptions. This gentleman does a great job of explaining it. I don't know who he is. He doesn't know who I am, but he's done a great job. And if the rest of his videos are that good, well, certainly deserves a subscribe. Sarge Tech just contributed $5. He says, always happy to be here. You're making learning fun and entertaining. Right on. Well, that's what I'm trying to do. Oh, I don't see our friend Peter in the chat room yet today. There's LRCX joining us. He says it's 108 degrees Fahrenheit in Sacramento. Ooh. Let's see. How hot are we? Let's see if we are. We are 108 as well. 108 degrees Fahrenheit here in Phoenix, Arizona. And it's going to get hotter. It's going to hit 115, 116 Sunday, Monday. Oh, man. I think I'm melting. So what am I doing today? What am I doing? Well, first of all, I'm going to lower that AC because I forgot to do it. When I turn all the studio lights on, as if it wasn't hot enough, I need to bring that AC down. It'll never, I'll put the AC to 77, but it's never going to hit, that AC can run all day and it'll never hit 77. It's just the house is poorly insulated. And anyway, that's my misery. I see Marlena is joining us in the chat room there. You could just talk to me like a normal person. You don't have to text me. You're just in the other room. You can come over here. You can come over here. You want to be seen or just heard?
Not really.
There you
Hello, everybody.
All right, and get back in the other room.
My pants are falling off anyway.
Oh, well, then I have that effect on people. So, I think this is what I'm going to do today. This company, XULU, they sent me their mini PC for review, and I was looking them up online. They've got a Kickstarter campaign. They're a company that makes things, and I don't know why why this was Kickstarter. It wasn't like it's a new company, but it's a new project. And they came out with this mini PC, and they sent me a prototype to review, but the prototype's not working. And they said if I sent it back to them in China, they'd replace it or repair it. And I've got so much stuff I'm shipping and so much stuff I'm doing. Like, you know, for crying out loud, for the free exposure you're getting, just send me another one. But then I looked at the prices on the Kickstarter, and this thing is not cheap. In fact, what they sent me is the XR1 MAX, which is sort of the higher end model of their mini PC. It is a very cool mini PC. However, I read some of the reviews, and they are, they're like, you can upgrade the RAM and the storage, which is fantastic. Okay. Yes, you can upgrade the RAM and the storage, but it's not easy. It's one of the most difficult machines to disassemble and upgrade, and the storage is limited to a 2242 M.2 drive. So, you know, they're very small, and it's very, very easy to break this little thing when you get into it. I'm not a fan of, how can I say this? I like the design, but I don't like the design. As a consumer, I like the design. As an engineer, I like the materials the case is made out of and the screen on the front of it. As a technician, I despise this. If I had to work on these, I think I might choose another career path. So what we've got here, first of all, when it comes to a case, we've got these solid aluminum pieces. This is like a top. That would go on there. And then this is the back plate, and that would go sort of like, yeah, probably like this. And that's going to screw into the computer that slides in, and that would lock in like that. So there's your I/O. And then this is the front. So the whole unit slides into this tank-like material. It's very well constructed. I got nothing but admiration over the design. The power button is very sturdy, and it's just built. Case is built really super, so I really like that. Now, Oh, if I wasn't clear about the tech support video I was just talking about, the link for it is in the video notes just below the video. But wait till I'm done, please. But you know what? Go watch it. Come back in 11 minutes. I'll still be here for a while. So the machine itself, when you slide it out, so as you can see, just to give you an idea of what it looks like, this piece is going to slide in here, right? I don't pinch this one cable. So that's what it's going to look like. And I can put the top back on it. Goes on like this. Goes on like. That's my problem. Yeah, that looks good. That should go right in there. Shouldn't be fighting. Don't fight with me. I guess I don't have it all the way in. Boy, that really, yeah. So it's really this is made to a very tight tolerance. Let me bring this up and I'll give you an idea what this looks like. And then let's try and fix it. I don't know that I can fix this, but let's just give it a shot today. So this is what it looks like. There's the top button. This is all metal, by the way. Even that button feels like it's made of metal. So it's very, very well engineered. There's a little OLED screen there, but it's not in color or anything. And that'll show us the time and the temperature of the CPU. You cannot adjust it or change it. So I don't even think you can turn it off. It's just there. And the form factor is very, very small. I think this is the smallest. They have this in a couple different AMD versions. I think this is the Ryzen 7. This is the more expensive version. They're all in the same case, but I think this is promoted as the most expensive. Sorry, did I say most expensive? The most powerful, you know what I'm thinking, tiny PC. It is expensive though. And then the back, this is again a piece of metal that's been laser cut from the looks of things here. And that's going to go on. So yeah, the whole thing has got a very nice look to it. So that piece comes out with 4 screws. This top comes off with 4 screws. Everything fits together really well. There's no gap or anything between the panels. It's very, very well made with tight tolerances. There's your CPU fan there. And then this piece slides out. And then that's your computer. And what they've done, and this is the part I don't like, in order to get it this narrow, they cut the board in half, and they're connecting the top half of the board that has the RAM with the bottom half of the board that has the storage. And they're using 4 ribbon cables to connect the 2 halves together. And these slide into these friction gripped connectors that you frequently see on laptops or maybe smartphones, portable devices, and they're delicate and they're flimsy, and I'm not a fan of that. These white portions here, these are little LEDs. This whole white portion is a light. And when you slide that in, the word XULU lights up. As you can see, it's clear on the other side, on this side here. So the light can shine through. It doesn't change colors. It's just white. And what else can I tell you? You can see the ports on the back. We can go through all that. A couple HDMIs, USB 3, USB 2, Ethernet, and power. And on the front, you get a Type-C, which is nice. You've got a headphone jack there, and you've got a USB 2 and a USB-C 3. 3, 2, and C. Got it? Got it. All right. So, onwards and upwards. Now, taking this apart isn't really all that difficult. It's the putting it back together parts. Isn't that always the case? It is in my life, I'll tell you what. Let's see. Let me turn off that button. And let me go up here. Turn off this button. Doing a little OBS maintenance here as we are live on this Saturday, the 1st of July. Wasn't it just June? Feels like it was June yesterday. Flies. Fruit flies. 155 of you are watching right now. Welcome in, friends. Maybe enemies? I don't know. Day is young. There's still time. If you type in XULU space XR1 into Google, I'm sure you'll see the Kickstarter page for this project. You'll see the prices. They're not shipping yet. I don't think this ships for another month, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 2 months. Hey, camera girl, I could use some close-ups. I'm ready for my close-ups, Mr. DeVille. What do you get? What do you want? I'll give you a XULU XR1 Mini PC. Or not. Not a new one, the one that's on the table. And you can fix it for me. Or not.
Yeah,
It's really neat. Maybe I'll get lucky and we can fix it. There's not a whole lot to break on these, but remember I had that little jar with screws in it the other day, and I said I can't remember what this is for. It's for this. This is the ramekin of parts, of little parts for what I've already done off camera with this. That's going to need to see a dishwasher when I'm done with it. Oh, there's my dishwasher now. Hi.
Yeah, very funny.
All right, let's go to close-up camera number 1. That's not a number. Just let's go to the close-up. Come on over. You're fine. Hi.
Hello.
I was talking to them.
Oh, okay.
But how you doing? So we're on the little Sony camera. A lot of people think the picture quality on this camera is far superior, which is weird because
It's the camera operator.
Is that what it's got to be the camera operator? No, this camera has the same 1-inch image sensor on it that the big Canon 4K camera has that I'm shooting with on camera 1. But this is a super teeny tiny RX100 Mark 7 from Sony. And Sony's processing of the image is just apparently superior because the colors seem better. I seem more true to life. I don't look. The other camera makes me look a little. This camera, I don't. This camera's only adding about 6 pounds, and the other camera adds 10 pounds. So, anyway, take a look at this little PC. I want you to get some close-ups here. I want to show the folks at home what I'm talking about. Nobody knows what I'm talking about at the time anyway.
I don't.
I'll rotate it. That was the background music. So you see, everything's nice and tidy except for that CPU fan cable right there. And if we take this apart, which requires, well, I don't know if this driver's going to be too big, but Kerry's got to get his glasses out because he's getting old. And get off my lawn, you kids. I'm keeping this ball on my yard. It's mine. We got a screw here, 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 and here. All right, so not rocket science. It's super easy to get these out. But you'll see where my dilemma is here in a minute. So we'll take these 4 screws out, and these are these little silver screws. Now these are a little bit different than the case screw. The case that I've shown you, the parts of the case, those are using black screws that are machine screws. These are more like self-tapping, which I don't know why they use these. That's another reason I don't care for this design is if somebody's going to open it up often, it'd be very easy for you to turn it just a little too far one time and you'll strip out the thread forever. So I don't know why they went with that, but I don't know this company at all. They've been around a while. I don't know why they did a Kickstarter. And I can tell you that before I take out all the screws, there's no way for me to remove this top motherboard without removing these ribbon cables first. And to do that, I need something to lift up the, I don't know if you've ever seen how these work, but basically this black piece slides up, and when it's in the up position, then it releases tension on that ribbon cable. so that we should be able to easily lift on it. And if it doesn't come out easily, it's because we haven't fully raised this black piece. Now, sometimes these pieces fold. They can flip open on a hinge. That's kind of rare, but you do see that sometimes on some laptops and mobile devices. There, yeah, see that went way up on that side. Do the same thing with it. You can understand why this is frustrating, because we got to do this 4 times. Then we can take the driver and get it underneath there. That is your connector, and with the end of the ribbon cable will have all your copper. Well, you can see that, but those are your connection points there. And then we'll do the same thing over here. Now this one cable right here, it looks like there's 2 cables. This is obviously CPU fan cable. This cable looks like it's powering, if we just look to the other side, that looks like it's what's powering our screen. So if we grab that, pull on it. Not good to pull by the cables, but we can leave this one attached, because when we take the board out, that should be about the only thing tethering us other than these ribbon cables and the screws. And you see the way the ribbon cables are designed, they don't give you a whole lot of slack here, and so it's very difficult to put these back in. Unless there's a technique that that somebody knows that I'm not aware of that makes this easier. I might be doing it the hard way, but either way, taking it apart is simple. Anybody can take it apart. Oh, there we go. Lift this up. And that side up. In theory, get this driver underneath there. That bad boy out. Without breaking it, Carrie, that would be helpful. Bring up this other side, it's just far down, and that's when it's down, it's pushing it in and holding it with friction. So it should just flop right out of there, like a dead fish. All right, now I'll take those last 2 screws out of here. Did I put both screws in this jar? Okay. Don't mind me, I'm just talking to myself. That there, and oh, we got one more right here. When I emailed them and I explained what the problem was, they suggested that I change the storage, that it sounded like I was having a storage problem, and I did, and then the machine wouldn't boot at all after that. They also suggested I change the thermal compound on the cooler, and I thought, well, that's just the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So, you know how I feel about this whole magic behind the thermal compound logic. But you can see that just comes right out, and there's our RAM. Obviously, this is going to be very difficult for us to get to this RAM and the battery right there. And then as you look through the rest of it, you can see that the little storage drive is down there. And so to remove this side, now we'd flip this over. Now look at here, look at all these, this right here. What's nice is it says what it is. It says LED, and then these 2 wires deliver voltage to that LED right there, that's bright white. And then this says MIC, right? Microphone. And this one is MIC. So that means this has 2 microphones. Where are they? It's got stereo microphones. There's a microphone right there. You see these little pinholes? Right there and right there. Left and right microphone. So in theory, if you didn't hook these up, like you were putting it back together and you didn't hook these up, you probably wouldn't even realize it, but it's pretty easy to know which plug goes where, because on the right side, you have a 2-pin and a 4-pin, and on the left side, you have a 2-pin and a 4-pin, and these won't reach to plug it into the wrong receptacle. And then, because we've already removed the ribbon cables from the top half, we can take out the bottom half. And then we can get to the skeleton of this thing. You want to talk about bare bones? We're going to get to the bones. And we're going to give Camera Girl a break here in about 5 minutes. Okay, Camera Girl?
Hmm.
Hang in there with me. This side is
All good.
a lot easier to get out. Okay, there's, again, it's the same little screws. Put that in the jar with the rest of our parts, including the original drive that this came with. I'm going to put that original drive back in because the one I put in there just made it worse. And just to give you some perspective, this is the part of the board that has all of our I/O on it. These 4 connectors and these 4 ribbon cables are what holds it in. And since we've disconnected those, it should just lift straight out. But something to bear in mind are these ribbon cables. They have to slide into those little openings in the case, which is another fun part of putting this back together. So you see how when you take it out, it's easy because you're going to pull those ribbon cables through your little slot. And taking them out is a lot easier than putting them back in. So the one thing we're still attached is to the, this is your Wi-Fi adapter. It's soldered on, and these 2 wires are antennas. And we could pop those off, but it looks like they've got some kind of a, oh, there's tape. So they've taken like a thick piece of plastic and glued it down, or it's got sticky tape on it. And that's to keep these from popping off in shipping, because that would be a bear. So we're going to just leave those attached. But in the meantime, you can see with the case, this is just a piece of plastic. And it leaves us with a little circuit board that provides the LED there. And our screen right up here, which I just noticed it has a connector, but there's nothing that connects to that. But this is the header we're going to use here. Okay, and if you turn this over to see the other side of it, that's your storage, and that's your RAM. See, they've separated, they've cut the board in half. Like a magic trick. Watch me saw this woman in half. Here, you want to get on the table?
Yeah, very funny.
I got a chainsaw over there. I can.
No.
No, I'm sure I would.
No.
We can at least do it once.
No. That would be too messy.
All right. I'm going to go back to main camera. You can do what you need to do.
Okay.
And then we'll call you back here later. How's that?
Fine, Pete.
All right. You're good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Pat Kennedy says, interesting mini PC. It is, isn't it? Very different. And if it worked and I didn't have any problems with it, I probably would be gushing. But now, since I've been forced to open it and work on it or send it back to China, I'm not so happy with it. But from this point forward, everything else is the same. And it is dual channel, although they've only sent it with one SO DIMM module, which is my glasses. Got to get my glasses back on. Oh, I don't even know what this is. It's a single 16 gig module. They should have given me 2 8s. If we wanted performance, they'd have given us 2 8s. I'll give them a little feedback about that. This is a prototype. I want you to keep that in mind. This is not a final model, but it's supposed to be ready, or one of the reasons they're sending it out for review is to verify that it's ready. Okay, so they're hopeful that it's ready. Yeah. Mortant said he's upgrading his Synology NAS while watching the live stream. You should totally do the 2.5 gig. I mean, I'm assuming when you say you're upgrading your NAS, you're doing the 7.2 DSM. Bought a bunch of these Club 3D USB 2.5 gig they've been tested for the 2.5 gig upgrade on Synology, because I don't think Synology makes a 2.5 gig NAS. So I upgraded mine. I did it. I upgraded Camera Girls. They all work great. I've got a client with a rack station, and it caused everything to lock up. But I think the lockup was actually more a problem with the Ubiquiti router and the DNS side of things. So I think it was getting confused when we got a new IP address, but the server name was still the server name. it said the server wasn't available or the name was already in use on it, some nonsense. Have I told you how much I dislike Ubiquiti routers? Oh, anyway, the client got it from some other technician, and then after that technician screwed everything up, they hired me to come in and fix it. So listen to me complain about doing work that I signed up for. But you know, some work is fun, and other work is like it shouldn't be necessary to do. Work like this, I don't mind. Accidents happen. Anything could have happened to this in shipping. It came a long way. And it is a prototype model. So I understood when I accepted it what I was getting into. So not too upset about it. I just, these ribbon cables, there's got to be a better way. Give me something I can click in. And there's no way we need exactly the same size ribbon cables on each side. I think they did that for symmetry. But whatever. Maybe it was just cheaper to buy in bulk and probably have a lot of data pathways in this cables that aren't being used. But I don't know, because that's a weird thing to chop it in half like that. Robert Jones wants to know what keyboard I'm using. This is an ASIO $200 wireless Bluetooth overpriced keyboard. It's pretty though. Don't you think it's pretty? There it is. Hey. What the heck? If I push function, is that not doing it? Alt. It's not working. Function. There it is. I was trying to get it to light up. Yeah. Now, how do I turn that off? It's really annoying. But it looks good, doesn't it? Totally worth $200. All right. I'm digressing, aren't I? Squirrel moment. Matching mouse too for $100. At least the mouse has an option other than Bluetooth. The keyboard, you'll see sometimes there's a delay because the keyboard goes to sleep to save the battery. When it wakes back up, it's got to repair with the streaming computer over there, and there's a slight delay. It feels good to type on. The mouse does not feel good to me at all, so it's strictly here for its looks. Zach Bischoff joins us, says, good afternoon, Carrie. Welcome in, welcome in. John Williams joins us. Bill Phil says, it's a tech sandwich. The Dreamcast can work with a large part of its board chopped off. I won't ask how you know that. So, I guess today's video is going to be about me trying to fix this. So we've got this RAM module, and I don't think we're having a RAM problem. I did run memtest 86 on it. However, this is what, DDR4 or DDR5? I think it's DDR4. PC4 3200. I'm going to say that's going to be DDR4. And then the storage that I put in here was something I bought off Newegg because I like to have spare NVMe storage and SATA storage depending on what mini PCs I've been reviewing. And I realized there have been a couple where I needed a 2242, and I don't use those in real life. Like, there's never been a case where I've installed one of these for a customer in real life. Remember, I'm a working computer technician, not a hobbyist or an enthusiast, so that's not a part I normally carry in inventory. So I went on Newegg. Well, I went on Amazon first, obviously, but they didn't have decent prices. These are few and far to pick from, and they're overpriced. And I went ahead and got one in SATA as well. Both made by companies, I think they're both made by companies I never heard of. Like the SATA one is made by King or something like that. And this one's made by... This one's made by who? This one may be a name brand drive. But,
Want me to look at it?
well, it'll be in my purchase history. It's a model.
Yeah, but I can read Super Panic.
Yeah. Yeah. You can just Google that model number on there. Anyway, that's just my spare one. And then this is the one they gave us, which is, again, a no-name brand. I'm going to walk this over to the camera so the folks at home can see it. But that's a 2242. You see, it's about half the size of a 2280. It's 22 millimeters wide, 42 millimeters long. Made by Herc. It's 1 terabyte, this little one. So, you know, the way they sent it to me, it's equipped pretty good, honestly, you know. Terabyte of storage. So got to remember those Wi-Fi antenna are still attached, Carrie. And I left the data and everything on there just in case I was going to be putting it back in. I didn't want to erase it or do anything else with it. Not that I have much use for these anyway. As I mentioned, I go through a lot of NVMe drives in my day job. I don't go through a lot of them in repairing, or I go through a lot of them in the sense that do a lot of upgrading, and all new builds always uses NVMe. We don't even deal with SATA anymore. We don't deal with DVDs or Blu-rays. We don't deal with tape drives or floppy disks. I don't deal with 2.5 or 3.5 inch mechanical hard drives either, except sometimes older laptops come in, or cheap laptops come in that still use them. And when they do, they go out with an SSD for obvious reasons. My friend Ron Hill here says, I see that Carrie has a bit of a Superman curl going on today. Is that Superman or is it Elvis? Thank you. Thank you very much. I won't do that again. I'm sorry you had to see that. Let's see what else we got going on here in the chat. Michael Dane, he's the man. Joins us in the chat room. What are you commenting about over there?
It's an OEM Samsung SSD.
I thought it was Samsung because it started, the part number started with MZ, M like Mary, Z like zebra, and that's usually an OEM Samsung part number. Okay, so that is a name brand drive. The other one that I have, the SATA version of the 2242, you can just stick it in the jar, or, you know, yeah, just put it in the jar. It's fine. But I think I'm going to replace this RAM. Maybe we should go with 2.8s. Let me step in the other room to the inventory room where it looks like a Fry's Electronics store threw up.
Yeah.
You don't have to agree. 64 gigs? No, I don't want to do 60. Oh, here we go. This might be just... Oh, wait, is that DDR5? Yeah, that's DDR5. Come on, Carrie. What do we have here? 32 gig. 32 gig DDR4 2666. 16 gig, 8 gig. These are all just ones. Here's an 8 gig times 2. Oh, I think these came out of my laptop. Okay. I don't know. 8 gig times 2 or 1 times 32. Do I have any 32 gig kits in here? Maybe I do have a 32 gig kit. Hold on a minute. Might be time for me to go shopping. Wait, there's an 8 gig DDR4. Didn't I already have an 8 gig DDR4? Oh, they're different manufacturers. One is Kingston and one is something else. That's probably a bad idea, Carrie. Let's not do that. When we're already trying to fix a problem, I don't want to introduce a whole nother problem. One problem at a time. Hey, that's not going to work for me. What is this? I have a Time Tech kit here that Well, looks like I never used it. Oh, it's a time-tick 16 gig kit. All right, well, that's where we were already there. What if I wanted to do 32, Carrie? 32 gig, 2 times 16 is what I'm looking for. There's 8 times 2 DDR5. Ah, DDR4. Oh, here we go. This will work. This will be my last one. I'll have to go and, if this ends up staying in this machine, I'll have to, somebody better remind me to go back shopping on Amazon to buy some more of these. This is the Silicon Power. Let me walk it over to the camera so you can see close up. Still sealed in the skin cutter packaging, guaranteed to cut your skin open. I bought a, they make a special device to cut these clamshell packages, but it was in a clamshell package that needed to have the device to get the device out that opens the clamshell packages. When I worked at Best Buy, they were once running a special where if you bought a VCR, you got a free VHS tape of how to install your VCR. I really don't think they thought that one through very well. Because if you can watch the tape, it sounds like you got the VCR hooked up already. So I'll tell you what Uncle Kerry does to get these finger cutters, these cuticle manglers, is I'll cut the edge off with a pair of scissors. And then I'll just bring that around the top as well. And back down the other side, but I won't cut the bottom, and then that way it should open like a hinge. Sometimes I cut myself from the piece that I'm cutting. It has a sharp edge. But in theory now I should open that. Yeah, see, I didn't quite get it good there. And I don't want to break the RAM just because I'm dealing with a stupid package. See? Huh? Little tip from your Uncle Kerry. There you go. Now they do offer these in multiple RAM and storage configurations within the limitations of the unit itself. Obviously, it's cheaper if you want to do it yourself, but on this one, I mean, unless you're super comfortable getting into it like that, which even with my experience and my knowledge, I would rather have them do it, even if it costs me a few more bucks. It's too easy to break that ribbon cable, and you're just not going to go down to the hardware store and buy another one or get your soldering iron out to fix something like that. I don't know. Should we put Counter Girl back to work here?
Tell Ron over here.
Tell Ron to get his butt over here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a couple old computers he's asked me for. I guess he's taking some of these old obsolete computers and turning them into retro gaming machines for friends.
Yeah. Say hi. Been a while.
Roy G. Bibb is joining us. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue.
Indigo and violet.
Indigo is the eye.
Yes.
Nobody says indigo. Can they just say blue?
Rainbow.
Those are all the colors of a rainbow?
Yes. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet.
Catch the rainbow. It's a commercial for Skittles. Are you waiting on me or am I waiting on you?
You're waiting. Yeah, I'm waiting on you.
Typical.
Camera.
Typical.
Typical.
Come on over.
Who's making me wait?
I'm sorry. Hold on a second. All right. So this is what we've removed. And if I do have to send it back, I got to remember to not send it back with this or with the upgrade I'm putting in. I'll have to take these back out, put this back in if this still doesn't work. And it's gonna go in just like all SODIMM RAM. Oh, look at this. I see a problem. You see the problem I see? It won't go down. Do you see why? Camera girl, do you see why it won't go down?
Yes. Not gonna work. Gee, might be the battery.
Oh, you know what? Maybe that battery wasn't originally there. It looked like it's got some tape on it, and maybe it shifted in shipping.
There you go. Wow, you fixed it. You're amazing.
What did I fix?
Oh,
I don't know where this battery
yeah. Where is it gonna go?
I mean, it seems like it would go good on that chip right there. What does that chip say? ITE. I forget what that is. Is that what chip that is? Sound chip? It's not a sound chip or a network chip. Yeah, who cares? All right, we'll just put this somewhere.
Shove it under there.
Well, it won't go under unless it went under this way. Seems like it should go on that chip. Of course, that could interfere with us putting this back in. It's fine. It doesn't even have to be secured down because once the piece is screwed back down, you know, it's got nowhere to go. And then as for this piece, I've already taken out the 2242, obviously, that you were looking up was a Samsung. This is the original one that is shipped with. So we're just putting it back the way it was, except for the RAM, making a change there. ITE is the Super IO. There we go. Thank you, Jamie McGregor. Jamie knows his stuff. Jamie joins us from Scotland. I speak Scottish. You want to hear it?
No.
It's just a wee lass.
Back to work.
All right, so as I mentioned before, getting this all back together, a little bit of a challenge. And again, if I didn't hook these 4 cables up, that's just LEDs and microphones. So, and if I didn't hook that cable up, that's just the front LED screen. So in theory, we could kind of attach it and try and run it outside of the case. But since it has to sit on top, there doesn't seem to be any safe way to do that where I wouldn't potentially damage the unit. And I think it's potentially repairable if I don't make it worse. That's the trick, you see. So this part here is going to go towards the back. And then if you look inside, we've got slots. And they're wide compared to the ribbon cable, but they're not wide enough in the sense that the ribbon cable's curved and it won't go through the slot while it's curved. It's got to be straight. So this is a tricky thing to do here. I'd be kind of interested to watch how they build these to see how they do it from the factory. You know, they got to be really efficient at this and keep these things moving down the factory line. And you'll see the reason I took the ribbon cables off the top is because the ones on the bottom are being assisted with tape, and I don't want to reduce the stickability of the tape by sticking and unsticking it. And then the other thing you got to watch for is we don't want any of the cables we need stuck underneath this. So we got to make sure at the same time that all those connectors, while we're doing this, and you've got to line up the ports with the outside, and you don't want your Wi-Fi antennas going over your ports like that, but you want the Wi-Fi antennas going off to the side. And you want all 4 of these cables lifted up and out of the way. And while you do all this at the same time, you have to pat your head and rub your tummy. And then try and get those ribbon cables aligned once more. And you can see I'm running into a little difficulty with the Wi-Fi antenna wires. They're so short that I can't move this. So that means they can't go to the right, your right. And I can't have them go through the middle because they'll interfere with the I/O. So it means it's got to go to, I'm not quite sure how this is going to work. Maybe I have to turn this once this way. No, one way or another, it's crossing. That's about as close as I'm going to be able to get that bad boy. And yeah, you can see this is going to be an exercise in frustration trying to put this back together. And it's because of the ribbon cable. If we didn't have the ribbon cables, this would be super easy. In fact, if they didn't cut the motherboard in half and they made the case a little shorter, like it didn't have to be so tall, it would look more like a regular mini PC. And I think they were going out of their way to have a different look. But the price of that is more than I want to pay with regards to convenience when it comes to working on it. Now, if you're someone who buys it and you never open it, and you never upgrade it, and you never need to repair it, who cares, right? What difference does it make? All right, so I've got these two through. See what I mean? It's kind of a pain in the rear end. Kind of. And then I can see as I'm lowering it, now those Wi-Fi antennas are, oh, look. Oh, I see. There's little cutouts in the circuit board. See the little grooves? The wires are supposed to go in those little grooves right there. There's one. Let's see. Okay. And I guess that's going to keep it free from my I/O somehow, some way. I mean, this is just, all we're trying to do here, this whole project, is just switch the RAM and the solid state drive out. And you can see what an undertaking this is. So when I read a review, and you can go on Google and look for reviews, and these were written reviews, not on YouTube. They talked about how grateful they were that, hey, they did it right by making it, with user serviceable parts that aren't soldered down. In other words, they didn't solder the RAM. They didn't give you any permanent storage. They're using industry standard upgradable parts. And well, that's true. As you can see, judge for yourself, it's not exactly that easy to upgrade. So I've got all three ribbon cables in except for that one in the bottom. What is that, your bottom right? Yeah. Maybe I can grab a little pair of pliers and pull that through. But again, these are a bit delicate and you don't want to, you don't want to actually tear them or rip them. Yeah, even my needle nose pliers are too pointy, pointy. Where are you? Where are you, pointy, pointy? Got these forceps. What do they call these? I think somebody sent, oh no, these were left behind. That's what this was. These were left behind here in Studio B in a junk drawer in the kitchen. And I said, hey, might be useful. So I'm very nervous about pulling on that. It feels like sounds like it's not happy when I do that. Cooperate. Got it. I got it through. Stu says, Carrie, you have more patience with doing that than I do. Yes, this job requires a lot of patience. Gary Tatum says, hemostats, hemostats. Yes, Gary, thank you for that. All right. So now my next concern is how do I get all of these cables away from the front I/O and without lifting up too far on this where it's going to pull those ribbon cables back through again. So I think these cables around, bring them there maybe. There. Just want to get them away from the I/O. So one will go there. That one will go over there. These two. One, and there's the other one. That should free up. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe, maybe. Let's see. I think another Type-C, my I/O right over there. So you don't want to pinch the cables, and you don't want the cables blocking. See, this is an example. You can see the antenna cable covering the center of the USB-C plug. And we wouldn't want to assemble it that way because the minute you tried to plug something USB-C in, you could splice that cable or cut into it. So it's very important you pay attention to that. Unless, of course, you enjoy a little soldering and splicing. So we want that cable to be moved way further. Come on now. Come on now. Doesn't want to go. It don't want to go. Gotta be persuasive. Great. Hey, there it goes. Works every time. Every time I go to move it, it just jumps right back in that same place. Can we? No, we can't. There's not enough cable to push it off to the side that far. It's got to, that cable's got to sit between these two ports, which is not ideal. Because it's soldered just below there. So what is the end of the cable? And then now this one's doing the same thing to our Type-C USB. Okay, that's fully seated down now. But look, the antenna moved again. Went right back, really wants to be right there. Ah. But if we move this over all the way over here, use that little slot in the circuit board, will that make it a little more friendly to us or no? Come on now. Nope, now the cable's covering up the hole for the headphone jack there. $20 later. Every single time, it goes right back there. Got muscle memory. Why you got to do me like that? Why you got to do me dirty like that? Okay, so I got that all clear, but now that cable is blocking USB Type-C port. That's obviously coming from, oh, it's the other antenna cable. So both antenna cables are in the way of something on the I/O, no matter how we slice it. I better not use that word slice. Might jinx myself. We didn't have anything else to do today, right? Okay, so now it looks like I'm clear. So let me put the screws in this real quick before it bounces. It's bumped. I wonder how those were run originally. I think I took some pictures of this before when I originally opened it. Kind of curious to see how they routed these cables. I don't think there's a whole lot of choice here because their length is just so, because they've made it such a tight fit. Luke Greeny wants to know what Carrie's breaking today. Hearts. Breaking them hearts, Luke.
No.
The one. You like my eBay screwdriver?
Yeah.
Got a nice little rubberized handle.
Mm-hmm.
Don't over tighten those screws. Remember, they're self-tapping. Paul O'Brien contributes €2. Here's to buy yourself some Band-Aids. LOL. I don't think you bought Band-Aids in a while if you think I could get Band-Aids for €2. What about the Bactine, the Bacitracin? No, thank you, Paul. Thank you for the contribution. BTM Psy Guy says, I think the memory popped up. The memory's not on this board. That wouldn't bother me. If you pull the camera back a little bit, you'll see the memory is over here on this board. We're just dealing with the storage on this one. All right, let me just put that last screw in there. And then when it comes to, plugging these cables back in, they're sort of cut to a length that makes it almost impossible to get them wrong or even to forget about them because they just sit just perfectly so. That one's so tight. Should have a lot more play in that. You know what I think? I think even though we're not seeing it here, I think it's pinched between the edge and where that recessed portion of the plastic is. Dang it. All right, well, what are you gonna do? What about these other two? Were these gonna reach okay? Say that's a yes. Okay. Click. So now we just have to deal with this. And the reason I plugged those in is so when I unscrew this, it's not going to allow me to pull this too far because the cables are going to, as a leash. Another good reason not to over tighten these apart from damage is, you might just be taking it right back apart again because of a cable, for example. Well, that's way better. Now we've got much more cable. Okay, now that LED will light up over there. Just put 2 in for right now, and then I want to just give it a good look around to make sure that we're still, in moving that we just didn't get another cable blocking one of our ports. It's amazing how some of the most difficult cable routing can be done by simply ignoring your cables. And that if you tried to recreate that, it would be almost impossible. Yeah, I'm going to say we're clear on there now. We're all hooked back up there. All right. So now this piece can go back on. They mentioned changing thermal compound. Should I? Shouldn't I?
Yeah, do it.
Well, we can at least take a look at what's underneath here. I'm not a fan of this, and I don't recommend you do this at home. These are a different screw than the others. We've got 3 of them holding this in place. 2 and 3. Let's see what kind of thermal compound job they did on this bad boy, although that probably won't make it. Oh, it's a vapor chamber. Okay, all right. So this has to come off to get to the screws that hold this piece down. And then I forgot I have to put the other two screws in the bottom here. Just till the screw stops, don't over tighten it, as I mentioned. Again, this is what it's going to look like in this stage of deconstruction. Is driver going to work in these little screws, or do I need a smaller driver? Oh no, it works. Now these are going to likely be different. No, they look the same, but nonetheless, I'm going to put them over here. We've got two there. Got somebody else's fingerprints all over this. Want to find out who built it? Yeah, I can unlock their phone. Take a look. If you can get the camera, you can see those fingerprints. This is why you should wash your hands before you work on computers. Gary Tatum says, let's hope it's not full of liquid metal. I don't think they would have suggested that I replace thermal compound unless it was regular. Ooh. Yeah, don't squeeze these fins. They'll just bend inward, as they just did. Oh my gosh, that is a pile of thermal compound. That's enough thermal compound for 3 CPUs. They just splotched it all right on there. All right, I have a special tool for cleaning up thermal compound like that. Let me go over to my professional technician's toolkit and grab a paper towel. Yeah, that's way over the top. Man. Look at all of that. Holy moly. Jeez Louise. Stripes. Oofda. Then I have these other technician tools, which you can get at specialty stores that sell specialty electronic items. These are called Q-tips, and this is called isopropyl alcohol or rubbing alcohol. I prefer to say rubbing alcohol. Isopropyl is not like any other word I use.
I could smell the sarcasm.
Sorry, do I need a breath mint? Doobie doobie doo. Hey, there's stuff underneath the thermal compound.
Dreams.
What's that?
Somebody's lost dreams.
What do you mean?
They're under the thermal compound.
Oh, is that where they store the dreams?
Yeah.
I can only find 91% alcohol content of isopropyl alcohol. Is there much difference? No. The the more pure the alcohol is, the less residue it leaves behind. And what we're doing is removing residue. We don't want to leave residue, but for what we're doing here, this is consumer grade electronics. We're not at MIT, at the Research and Development Lab. So any isopropyl alcohol will be just fine for your use. I'll tell you, I was trying to find isopropyl alcohol, and this was during the pandemic, and everybody was sold out of it. And I would go to the typical places like Walgreens and CVS, Safeway, and anyway, I said all of that backwards because it was at Walgreens. Safeway was sold out, so I thought, well, sometimes the really strong, 100% isopropyl alcohol is behind the counter, and you have to ask for it at the pharmacy. So I went during pharmacy hours and I asked because their shelves of isopropyl alcohol were pretty well cleared out. I said, hey, you got any back there, medical grade? And they said, well, actually, it's not medical grade. You want a much lower alcohol content. Trying to disinfect a wound, you could actually make your wound worse by using a higher alcohol content. And of course, we can use Everclear, but that's not available for sale in some states like California. But anyway, I was at Walgreens. No, did I get this? I got to take that back too. I think I bought this off Amazon. This $2 bottle of isopropyl alcohol cost me, I think, $12, but at least it was shipped to my door. I didn't have to go and deal with anybody outside. It's too people-y out there. So they got a vapor chamber, so that explains how they're how they're managing the thermals on this. See here? See the vapor chamber? Two copper pipes there that are sort of rounded and closed off. Our fin stack. Hey, that looks way different now than it did a few minutes ago, doesn't it? Or is it just me? All right. I think I'm going to, just because I'm a little CDO, sorry, that's OCD. I like to alphabetize it. I'm going to just tap on that to see if I can get it. Because to my eyes, it looks like we still have thermal compounds sitting in the little space, the little microscopic spacing between those little whatever those are. I was going to call them little chiplets, but they're not chiplets. Those are like muffler bearings. Yeah, little muffler bearings there. It's our blinker fluid. All right. Everything's coming up clean. Now, the stronger the alcohol content, the faster it's going to evaporate. You'll notice I'm not wiping it off. You'll see the liquid evaporate. And as I mentioned, the higher the alcohol content for cleaning purposes, the better. The lower the alcohol content in your rubbing alcohol if you're trying to disinfect a wound. Okay? Oh, I think this is the size that's from Walgreens. That might last a while. I have another one over here. Oh, this one was also at okay, this was the Walgreens one. So this one is for wounds. See, it's only 70%. And this one is 91%. And I was using this one, but I really wanted 99% and I couldn't find it. So I went on Amazon and I bought it there. And it's marked up 600%, but it's fine. It's not like it's $12 is the end of the world. And that bottle will last me years. Years, I say. There's Bill Wickens joining us. Good to see you, Bill. Alhez Depej says AG, 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 AG. Isn't that the table of elements for silver? Mm-hmm. AG. Look at me showing off how smart I am.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A real fart smeller.
Well, what?
Real fart smeller.
You mean I'm a smart feller?
Fart smeller.
I think you said that wrong. All right, now if you pull that camera back a little bit so people can see what I'm doing. I always want to make sure we use nitrile, and not rubber or latex. You don't want any powder on them. These do not have to be sterile. So a powder-free, non-sterile nitrile glove is what you see me use. If you can't find these, they're pretty much available for free behind any proctologist's office in the dumpster. Usually 4 of the fingers are still clean.
Stop it!
This is clean. Checking. And as mentioned the other day, if it wasn't clean, just turn it inside out and you can wear it the other side of it.
Real bad influence.
I'm trying to save the environment. What are you trying to kill the planet? You're okay with global warming? There's Howie Mandel when you need him. When you coming over, Ron? I'm about ready. Thermal compound. I got this little tube of Noctua NTH1, which is really affordable. Even though it says Noctua, it's actually affordable. And you get these on Amazon. They used to be like $8. I don't know how much they are now, but it's a wider tube than what most other companies use. You can see that screws down so you don't have to have any tape sealing it. And we're just going to put some right here on the top of the die. This is called a die. D-I-E. Need much. Tappy, tappy. Okay. That's the amount of thermal compound that should have been on it to begin with. Now, do you remember which way that radiator or that fin stack was facing? Did it go on like this? Or did it go on like that?
Like that.
Why are you filming half of the desk?
Oh, sorry. I was trying to see.
So did it go on like this?
No.
Did it go on like this?
Yes.
It can't go on this way, can it? No, the holes won't line up. So it had to have gone on this
Like
way.
that way. Yeah.
And then these are these are your voltage regulator modules here, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that how it went on?
Yes.
Yeah, it's got to be away from the power button of the connection there. Is that real copper? Oh, it's more copper in that than in an American penny, which is mostly now zinc. No, that's pure copper. Yeah. You want to sort of tighten these all down. Equally. And what I mean by that is you don't want to tighten down one and then tighten down another one. What you want to do is sort of get it started and start at the same time bringing the others until you start feeling resistance, just a hint of resistance. I'm going to stop so that they're all pretty much at the same point. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to tighten down any corner and then do the opposite corner and then tighten down the last two. So I think I'll start here. That just kind of comes to a complete stop. Opposite corner. I have a habit of wanting to grab it here and I'm pushing the little fins in. Okay, that one's good. That one's good. That one's good. And then go once more around because sometimes when you tighten these get a little looser from what can be essentially warpage can occur. If you just tighten them down one at a time, you can create a warp. That's why we do opposite sides. Same as putting a tire on a car. Not that anybody in these days that we live in knows how to change a tire anymore. Oh, there was some sticky tape under there. Well, I was trying to be clever and figure out a way that I could wrap the cable, but I could just unplug the cable and just zip tie it later. So the air is going to blow out. It's going to draw the air in here and blow it out here, which blows it through the fin stack. Wondering how that works. But they did ask me to do that. So if everything still doesn't work when we're done, go back to them and say, hey, I did everything you asked me to do, and we're no better off than we were. There's nothing more I can replace on this unit. So I don't know what they're going to do with it when I send it back. It's not as though these are very repairable beyond what you've seen me do in this video. Now these are just little plastic loops here. Do not over tighten or you will crack right through that. And that would be bad, okay?
I'm gonna need to plug the camera in.
Oh, look, I somehow managed to trap the cable underneath the fan. Just hang in there for a minute because we're about done with you. I see there's a little hook that the cable holder there. I see now, said the blind man to his deaf wife as his crippled son walked up the stairs. Can we say that anymore? My mother used to say that all the time. Is that now politically?
It's weird.
It's weird.
Yeah.
So judgy. Well, you gotta
walk both ways uphill in the snow just to get to school.
Oh, I told you that story already.
Mm-hmm.
And that was before physics.
Right.
I had to come home and invent physics. So you want the fan to be secure so it doesn't vibrate and make a lot of noise, but you don't want to over tighten. Okay? All right. So all right. So now, I guess it's a boy. Now, it's got a dangler. What?
You better be quick because the camera is about to lose its battery.
We
so
plug in a dongle and have a dangler. All right. You want me to go to camera one?
Oh, you don't. I just need to plug it in.
Well, that's all right. We'll give you a break here because I'm going to go back to camera one. So move it.
Fine.
Thank you.
Welcome.
All right, so let's see how many people are left. 281. Oh, there's more than when we started. Bob R said, so this is a laptop but vertical. Well, no, because it doesn't have a screen, it doesn't have a keyboard or a mouse, it doesn't have a battery. It's nothing at all like a laptop. No. But in a way, though, it is using laptop parts in the sense of the laptop CPU. Yeah, sure. In that way, I'm kind of like a dog. You know, I breathe and I have teeth and a tongue. So I guess we're kind of alike. I mean, if that's like a laptop, then I'm all right. Never mind. I'm just teasing you. All right, let's see. There's circuit board here is popping out. All right, that looks fine. That's fine. This piece, it's dangler. It wouldn't be bad if the RAM were just exposed, you know, if it was mounted this way, but then CPU would have trouble getting air, unless this was only one story, but they've made it a double decker, and that's yeah. So which way did this go? This has to go this way. Oh, we've got another connector right here that's not being used. Wonder what that's for. Don't know. That's our power button. So what if I put this in? Do that. Move the ribbon cables out of the way. I don't want to damage them, and I also don't want them to go back down through that hole, or it'll be even more difficult to get them through the second time. Board being secured underneath. See, that's not too bad. And I can go ahead and secure this back down. And this cable, this big one here that powers our screen, that just fits right back in on its connector. See, if they use these kind of connectors at the end of these ribbon cables, that would make my life so much better. Because those, they only go in one way, so you can't put them in upside down. And they have a nice firm click. And they're seated into the socket correctly. So now we've got the front screen hooked up there. Now I got to deal with these ribbon cables, which this is the part that I'm not a big fan of, to say the least. Hey, if this works, I can review it. Chris McGraw says Thermal Grizzly makes new graphene thermal pads you can use on CPUs. It seems to be nice so far. So just so you know, those thermal pads do not work as well as thermal compound as far as effectiveness. But if you're constantly opening up your machine and taking your heatsink off, I think what you need is a visit to the psychiatrist's office, but they do make pills that can help you. But thermal pads, anytime you're in a situation where you're always having to remove something and reapply the thermal compound. It can cost a lot of money, and it's just wasteful. Those thermal pads make that much easier because you can just take it off, put it on, take it off, put it on, take it off, put it on. That's the only time I ever see a thermal pad of any use, and I wouldn't really understand why somebody would keep removing something that requires that level of essentially, like anything that's using thermal compound has to be tightened down so that you can get good heat transfer. It's got to be level and even. So for people that are constantly taking their heat sinks off, thermal pads make that a lot easier. But they definitely don't work as good as far as cooling. If you want the best cooling, don't use a thermal pad. Okay. And thermal grizzly, honestly, it doesn't really cool any differently than any random thermal compound. It's a psychological thing. Unless maybe you're an overclocker and 0.5 degree or 1 degree Celsius is the difference between you breaking a world record or not. But for regular folks, it's very overpriced, in my opinion, and way over the top for the average person. You might as well buy a school bus. I mean, sure, you don't have to have kids or really need a school bus, but you could overpay for a vehicle that gets poor gas mileage. But, you know, if you're convinced it's a better option for you because salesman got to you, don't let me get in the way of your purchase. All right, so this gets a little tricky for how we have to put these back in, because the little plastic piece we have to push down, it likes to fall because of gravity, you know. And then once it's down, this piece won't seat very well. That one wasn't too bad. Essentially, right on the tip of the edge of the connector, you can feel where it's very stiff, and you can use that as a point to push the cable, seat it. So that's what I'm doing. 2 down, 2 to go. Three down. Just want to make sure that those little plastic pieces are fully sat down. Kind of end up pushing them in when I put the cable in. Okay. I think we're ready to fire up. Keep her moving. So I need a power supply, and that ships with a power supply that looks like this. Frankie B says, that was fun. I know, right? Let's go again, go again. It's a barrel style power connectors. You know. It's not USB type C or anything like that. This is going to consume a lot of power. So, not that they couldn't do it with USB type C, but they're not. That's fine. Fine. I need an HDMI cable, which I know I have laying on the floor here somewhere. And I know this has internet ready, so I can safely plug my interneto in there, HDMI, and there. And I need a keyboard and a mouse, and we can fire this little bad mamma jamma right on up. Keyboard and a mouse. Right here we go. This V says, plug and pray. There we go. Got a little Wi-Fi keyboard mouse dongle. Plug that right in the front. Okay, doke. So our power button is right over there. Camera girl walked out of the room right when I wanted her. Right when I wanted to give you guys a close-up. Typical. See, good help. It's just hard to find. That's all I'm saying. Cordius Technology contributes $5 in Super Chat. He says, I'd like to see Carrie put an all-in-one cooler in that unit. Yeah. For my next trick, I will take this 10 pounds of crap and put it into this 5-pound bag. I would be happy if it booted and we got into Windows, because it did do that. It was just crashing all the time. It wouldn't stay without a blue screen. So, or I was getting really funky video out of it too. I'd get like just junk across the screen. So that's turned on. That's turned on. Let me take camera 1. Wrong mouse, Carrie. Take camera 1. Oh, does that look like it's lit up? No, it's just the studio lights. When I turn this on, now that's lit up. Fan is spinning. Myself in a corner. Let's see if we get a post. Keeping in mind, oh, look at that. We did change out the RAM, so it may take it a minute to resynchronize or retrain the memory. But we put their NVMe drive back in it. Bob R contributes $9.99. He says, I love seeing things taken apart and put back. Hopefully there's no parts of screws left over. Hey, look at this. We have loaded. Do me a favor, grab that close-up camera. I want to show people what the LCD screen on the front of this looks like.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go full screen. I'm going to go full screen on camera 1 here. Bear with me for a second. I got to use the right keyboard to do that. Then I'm going to turn camera 1 off. Then I'm going to turn on the close-up camera. Come on over here, close-up camera person. And if you look, hold on, I don't have you on yet. So you see how that lights up? And in front of it, we'll have the time. Oops. What does it say? Fan 34%, temp 61 degrees. Okay. Well, so far so good.
Nice.
All right, I'm going to go back to the desktop. You're clear. You can shut that down. Thank you.
Welcome.
So I got this far before when they originally sent it to me, before I opened it. I didn't really want to open it. Just wanted to review it. And I don't know, what was I doing? I was doing something, maybe it was Windows updates. And it just pooped out. Oh, it's installing something now. Okay, well, very good. It's dead quiet. That wallpaper is what it shipped with. I don't know where they got it from, but this is exactly how it turned on after I did the Windows out-of-box experience setup. David Graham says, I'm thinking it was that gob of thermal paste. Well, you might not be wrong, David. Thank you again, Bob, for your contribution. So that is doing that. I guess I can put camera 1 back, grab camera 1 again, put myself in a corner like I always do. Using the wrong box. Keep doing that. Select camera 1 first, then resize it and move it. Okay. All righty. So yeah, the sides are lit up and that's going to shine through. So it says Zulu through it's going to light up there. Now, does anybody have any questions? How is Jimmy doing? I haven't seen Jimmy. He did go to the vet last week. I guess he's doing okay. Hopefully I'll get over there. Well, there's no hopefully about it. I've got to get over to Studio A this coming week at some point. I don't really want to go in 115-degree weather and sit in traffic, but we'll see. I got some hot dogs for him. I don't know if he's happy to see me because he loves me, or he's happy to see me because he knows I'm going to bring him a treat. Bruce Lucas says, Carrie, I've decided that for my birthday, I'm going to give you $9.99 a month. Well, Bruce, thank you so much for becoming a member, but you're giving $9.99 a month to YouTube. YouTube is taking 30% of it, and they will give me $6.99, and the government is going to tax me on that, and that's going to be another 20-30%. So I'm going to get about half. But thank you for supporting the channel. And everybody who supports the channel helps. If every viewer did that, we'd be working on some far more expensive projects. In the meantime, my thanks to the folks at XULU for sending me this model for testing. It comes in a really neat carrying case here. You want to bring the close-up camera back?
Yes.
Since we're just watching paint dry over here. This didn't lock up on me, did it? No, we're still, I think we're still working. It's on my screen. Is that on my screen or on that screen? Let me go full, I'm already full screen. I'll go projector mode so I can see. Oh yeah, that's something else happening. So I don't know if this is locked up. I don't normally get the little toilet bowl flushing icon during installs. When I click on the start menu, no, see, we've locked up, folks. That's exactly what's happened. We have seized. Anyway, let me hit Control-Alt-Delete and see if I can break out of it. No, Control-Alt-Delete. It is seized. All right, so I'm gonna unplug it. I'm gonna plug it back in, turn it back on, and then while that's booting up, maybe go in the BIOS. Anyway, for right now, let's just go back to the close-up camera. Turn off camera one. Come on over here. So what you get with the XULU is it's meant to be portable. So you get this nice little carrying bag. And then inside, you get your place for your mini PC. We've got a place for the power supply. We've got a little baggie in here that has, it looks like a catalog. And then we've got an HDMI cable, thick one, all included. And this, smallest Ryzen-based PC in the world. They have different models. And they have different colors. We have the XR1 MAX. So I guess that's the top of the line, which makes sense. If you want me to review a product, you probably should send me the best. Oh, and we have some other stuff here. We've got a Go Faster sticker. What's this for? Oh, you know what these are? You know what these are for? These are dust filters. Isn't that cute? And then there's another one in here. Where did I? It's over here. See how that one's got a little groove right in there? If you look on the back, well, let's look on the back here. Yes. This one goes on the inside? I gotta get my glasses. I can't see so good. Yeah, it's exactly. It's cut. That corner is cut. Then that's cut with an arch. And then that just, it's sticky tape. And no, it's not quite straight. No, don't go down. Look at that. Didn't even know that was on the bag. Oh, what is this? It's the flip side of our sticker. Or are there two stickers? Where's the sticker go? It's too long to go there. I guess this is supposed to go not on the computer. This sticker is longer than the computer, or it would be blocking.
On the bag,
Oh, on the container here?
probably.
I thought it was already stitched into the container.
It's a sticker.
Right there.
Like, yeah,
It's got like a little
put it on your
rubber.
car.
I've never seen a mini PC that came with a free lunchbox. I think that's pretty cool.
That is neat.
Ross Bittner says you put that sticker on your Trapper Keeper. Somebody's old.
Oh my God.
Well, what do the instructions say?
Do not turn this on.
Do not use.
Do not use. Oh, that's banana.
Yeah. Ryzen 7. Okay, I think I'm done with you.
Fine.
I'm going to go back to HDMI input. Where did my HDMI input go? Oh, we didn't even get past the startup screen this time. Interesting. Very interesting. Set that over here. Stuck. Media present. Roll out, delete. See if we can get the BIOS of this bad boy here and see what's going on in it. Unresponsive, doctor. Maybe it's not the delete key. Maybe I gotta do like F2 or something. Let's try 2. Yeah, it's F2. Okay. Let's see, what do we have to play with? Sees our 32 gigs of RAM and it sees it at 3200, automatically runs it at 3200. Trusting computing is good. RAM is good. CPI is good. CPU config is fine. I don't know why it's got IDE. Debug port table, general, CI subsystem, speed configuration. NVMe configuration. No device found. Well, that's not good, is it? Because that suggests that we don't have a drive. It's a scrubber. Boy, it's got stuff in here. I don't even know what this stuff is. Zelia Audio. XFR enhancement. Damage caused by use of your AMD processor outside of specification or in excess of factory settings are not covered under your AMD product warranty and may not be covered by your system manufacturer's warranty. Declined. Press plus or minus to change the option. Yeah, that's not letting us change nothing. Oh, I see. You have to go down here and hit accept. And we can just disable PBO. Just slow it down a little bit. I don't usually, it's faster. Silicon on chip or system on chip, which, see, it's not locking up in the BIOS. Yeah, channel A and channel B, both running at 3200 transfers a second. Secure boot. I don't want to do that. First boot option should be want PXE. I don't want to boot from the network. It's not offering me any of the drives, well, the drive, because it doesn't see the drive for some reason. Let's go ahead and save these changes here for a minute. Because you'd think the storage drive just died from the way it's behaving. And let's just see if it has any better luck booting up to F2 again. Michael Dane says, according to the XULU site, this is scheduled to be released to the public in 54 days. So what is that, August? End of August? Yeah, I just see the Ethernet controller. Oh, it's a 2.5 gig Ethernet that's included. Is it in times? I don't. You definitely want the first thing to be NVMe. Second thing would be USB device. Save and exit. Save changes and exit, yes. Save changes. It's not exiting. Save changes and exit. Don't think that's what that's supposed to do. Why is it? It's saving the changes, but it's not. See, if I say no, and I'll say yes, it's not exit. Oh, okay. It exited that. No, it came back again. Or maybe it's just booting that fast. I'm going to pull power on this with the hopes that it'll reset that NVMe drive, because now it's acting like it's got no storage drive. Winston Lou says, Carrie, happy Canada Day. That's right. Today it is Canada Day. What did they used to call that in the 80s? Had a different name. All right, let me turn it back on now that I've powered it off and disconnected the power and see if it resets that NVMe drive to be recognizable. Come on, baby. You can do it. Boot for me, boot. Boot for me, boot. Hey, it's booting. Would you mind getting my Amazon package from the front door? All right, we're back up and running once again because I'm a glutton for punishment. I'm going to go back over to Windows Update. When it's running really well. Maybe we can get through the install this time. What did we get, 25% before? So that's why I changed the NVMe drive out. Now it's all coming back to me. It seemed like the drive was dying, and the support, when I reached out to the folks at XULU, without my prompting them, suggested to them, they said it sounded like the drive was dying, and they recommended that I change the thermal compound and change the drive. And I changed the drive, and it just got worse. Now we just put the drive back in, and while we were in there, doubled up the RAM. Now you're caught up. So I just wanted this to review it. And the thing is, when it locks up, you know what? Maybe we can go to the device manager. The task manager. Let's go under the performance tab. Maybe we can kind of keep an eye on what's going on. But we haven't locked up yet. That's a big update. It's pretty intense. So it's probably going to use a lot of CPU power, and it's a nice burn-in test for this thing. That's running. Let me see. Oh, you already took it out of the package?
Yeah.
All right, so this little secret thing that people at home can't see that just arrived is going to go over here with this other secret thing. Then there's another secret thing goes with it. I want to keep all the secret things together. There we go. Okay. That completes all the parts needed for that secret video that I'm going to do. Uh-oh. With grease, are we still okay? No, buttons are highlighting as I go over. Well, they were a second ago. Now they're not. Uh-oh. Maybe the problem with the NVMe drive is it's overheating. Check with Crystal Disk Info. You know what? That's a great idea. It looks like we're froze up. Refrozed up. Frozen up. That is a great suggestion. Certainly explain the behavior, why it works so great, and then after a while stops working, and then won't see the drive anymore upon reboot. And we have to pull the power, let it cool off for a minute. Let me go over to camera one. And yeah, with it being so hot today, you wouldn't think this thing would be frozen. Turn it back on. Let's go back to HDMI input. And yeah, Crystal Disk Info. Got that on a flash drive right here. Oh, we're not even booting up anymore? It's like it froze up trying to boot. Plug it. Plug it back in. On. Okay, here we go. Make it into Windows this time. Hey, updates are underway. All right. All right, flash drive. In you go. See, what do we want? PC testing. We can grab Crystal Disk Mark, Crystal Disk Info, CPU Z, HW. Hardware info, that'll be a good one too. And we'll put DLC on it once we get it running. It's optimistic of me, isn't it? Uncle Carrie's Windows 10 optimizer, you gotta have that on there. Even if it is Windows 11. I won't tell if you right click, taskbar settings. Don't want the chat option. Change other system tray icons. Safely hardware, I want to see that at all times. Bluetooth, I want to see that at all times. Security status, see that at all times. Teams and OneDrive, I will uninstall by going to Start Settings. Let's see. Apps. Installed apps. What is this? Oh, it's Microsoft Office for every language possibility. Oh, seriously? When I remove the German version, it wants me to answer the question in German. Well, that's great. These are just trials. This isn't the full software install. It's taking so long. Let's see. Just put this info. Oh, oh, oh. Would you look at that? So this is a Gen 3 slot, Gen 3 drive. Here's, and we are definitely having a temperature problem here. This is not ideal. Anything over 60 degrees Celsius is concerning. Okay. We locked up again. You know what? I think Zvi has nailed the problem. It definitely seemed like it was a storage related issue. And yeah, it's getting hot. It's getting way too hot. Question is why? Can we get some air in there? I'm going to pull the power plug on this. We're going to go back over to camera 1. And with my flash drive. So you know what that means for me to take this back apart, right? If the problem is the drive is getting too hot, then the problem isn't really the drive. I suspect any drive we put in there would get too hot. What's going on in my mind is whether or not it's worth it for me to sort of make a little makeshift heatsink and stick it on there, or buy a different drive. Although the drive I've got there, that Samsung, like I said, it made everything even worse. So my hesitation are the darn ribbon cables. See some before we take this too far. Well, I use one of the NVMe heat sinks I have. None of those heat sinks are that short. They're for standard 2280, 80 millimeter length. These are 42 millimeter length. It's in there, but maybe I could cut it. See something here. What does Crystal Disk Mark say right now at boot? We're even at boot up, we're already at 62 Celsius. Huh. Drive's only been powered on 38 times. It's got 57 hours of power on use. It's a brand new drive. It's definitely running hot. Asking for trouble. Oh, wow. So they've loaded this up with a bunch of bloat, unfortunately, because of that they wanted it sort of worldwide out of the box. And I think we just seized. Yep, we are all seized up. Okay. Well, you know what? I am glad we did this today because I feel very confident now that parts I can't fix, parts on the circuit board that are soldered down, appear to be all working correctly. Parts we can do that I don't want to because we have to go through that whole hassle of taking it back apart again. In other words, to get to that NVMe drive, So it is very, very warm back here. To get to that NVMe drive means taking this bottom back out, which means I got to take the ribbon cables back off. Then if I'm careful, I won't have to take off the those 4 wires for the microphones and LEDs. But I still will have to fight with the cabling to get it back in so it's not, cables aren't covering our ports. Not looking forward to that. However, what needs to be done needs to be done. Oh, let's see. I suspect if we can resolve this heat issue, this would be a good little machine. Yeah, so here's the thing. When you take the ribbon cables back out, they're very difficult to feed back through with the circuit board in. It was easier for me when this top circuit board was out, and I don't want to take that one out too. I just want to take the bottom one out. And again, I don't want to remove the ribbon cables from the bottom side because that would be very difficult to put those back in again. So it makes sense where they're taped down, leave them down. And but I didn't put my tools away. Gotta go in again. The good news is, I've opened this a dozen times, I should get really, really good at it. Samsung should handle the heat a lot better. There's definitely no airflow and there's no heat sink for the NVMe drive here. And it's obviously very difficult to get to. All right, so apart from the RAM upgrade, I just put it back the way it was. So yeah, feeding these ribbon cables back through is going to be very, very difficult now. On top of that, I still have to worry about getting the wires out of the way of the I/O ports. Double whammy. Jeremy the Red is there. Jeremy the Red should be blue. I wish this wasn't so hard to put back together. It's more difficult than it should be. So it looks like these wires are going to have to come off after all because I can't get a good enough angle to get the ribbon cables aligned correctly because they're folded. They have to be straightened out to get through the hole, and as soon as it's through the hole, then you want it to fold. So once again, removing the microphone and LED cables, not the Wi-Fi cables. That at least gives me some more slack here. Yeah. This is going to be very difficult because essentially, when I had the top of the circuit board off, you could see how narrow the slot was for that cable to fit. But now with the motherboard in place, it's covering the majority of that gap. So that means I've got to find a way to fit through that little tiny bit of a slit there. And I've got to do that for 4 cables on opposite sides. And when you lift up one side to get the cable aligned, it pulls the cable out from the other side. And so that is my frustration. It's easier, really, from my experience, to go ahead and take the top off of it. Just to get the ribbon cables through. So yeah, this is very, very cumbersome. If they could have figured out a way to just move the storage and the RAM somewhere where there's just an access panel so that you don't have to separate the boards like this, certainly appreciate that level of engineering prowess. But here, yeah, I'm kind of feel like whoever engineered this didn't really consider maintenance or repair of the unit. So now it's much easier to find, get those ribbon cables slotted in. So we got the one in, not the other one. Yeah, if you can imagine trying to do that with that top circuit board in, you know, you've got to thread a needle basically. Two, three, four. Okay, now I got to figure these cables out again. Wow, wow. Must be getting better at it or getting lucky. Take either one. Not. Popped out. Ah. Okay, maybe. I feel lucky. You feel lucky? Does anybody feel lucky at this point? Let's see. Ah, just tripped on a cable. But you know what? Just did a little bungee jump. It didn't even hit the floor. Starting to make mistakes I don't normally make. Might need to be taking a few days off. Pairing automatic repair. Let me grab Windows 11. Yeah, I'm not digging on this at all. Waiting on this to shut off, and then we'll try it one more time. I think we're going to have to do a fresh clean install. Try this again. Boot her back up. No, blue screened. Okay. So I think what I want to do this time, around here and unplug it. Take my Windows 11 media, plug that in. Then we'll give it juice, turn it back on. Press F2. All right, let's see here. Let me see. Let's do a boot override. Hopefully it'll boot to the Windows 11 media, but I don't even see it posting now. There it goes. All right. Patience, I guess. Hopefully that's loading off the flash drive right now. It is. Thank goodness. Push. Install. Accept the license agreement. Next, custom. Ah, we're back to no longer seeing the drive again. Holy cow, that's freaky. It's definitely a storage related issue we're having. Hmm. Shouldn't take this long to boot from that flash drive. Ah, what the heck, man? That is bizarre. Okay, all right. Is it overheating? Is that why it drive's overheating too? Let's try without the flash drive. Interesting. Let's try something else. What else can I try? Let's boot to Acronis. Shut this down. Acronis Rescue. Flash drive in here. Power this back up. 2 to get into the BIOS. Two. That's the boot override. And let's see, I need an enclosure. Hmm. Hmm. Do a clone. Tools and utilities. Clone the disk. Trying to work with 2 or more disks. All right, let me plug in the original drive to USB. Head on. Tools and utilities. Clone. So this is our original in the, what did they supposed to say USB? Okay, that's our original. That's our Acronis Rescue there. It does not see the internal Samsung drive. Not detected. Okay, okay. So let me unplug this again. In. Turn it back on. Is it F9 or F10 maybe to get to the boot menu? F8 for startup settings, F8. I think it's loading off the flash drive right now. Go into the BIOS. Not letting me go into the BIOS. Control Alt Delete. Not letting me do Control Alt Delete. I think that automatic repair is happening on the flash drive. Oh, maybe not. All right, choose your language. English. Use keyboard. Troubleshoot. Startup repair. Advanced options. Troubleshoot. System image recovery. Troubleshoot. System restore. Nope. Turn off. Okay, that's off. Let me take my flash drive out of there. And turn it back on. Back in the BIOS. Guess I missed my opportunity to get the BIOS here. Oh, it's because I'm hitting delete. It's F2, Carrie. F2 it is. Okay, F2. Okay, let's go back to loading the defaults. Store defaults. Save changes and exit. Very, very strange. Very, very strange indeed. Think for a second. Gone. F2, 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 2, 2, F2, 2, 2. And we want to go over to boot override. Just take its time booting from USB, I'll tell you what. Okay. That's good. Oh. So I wonder, does this require, does this have like a different drive controller on it that Windows isn't seeing natively? Because the BIOS saw the drive, but Windows isn't. Load driver. See if we can, this probably isn't going to work, but see here. Original drive hooked up through a USB. Well, that's not gonna work. Hmm. What if we tried Windows 10? F2 and F2. And boot override. You can see the Samsung drive right there. Give it a shot. Well, I hope it does more than this. This is bizarre. Now we just have a black screen. So the mystery continues. Oh, something's trying to happen. There we go. Drive 0, space 0. Weird. That's pretty weird. Okay, well, that explains why I can't see it. Very, very strange. Okay, well. We definitely are having some sort of a heat issue with the drive. With the drive reporting 0 megabytes in size, so what I did is, this is the original drive in an enclosure, and I cloned it. And I think I probably should have just reinstalled Windows on it. I suspect I'm going to have to take this apart again and take that drive out, put it in an enclosure, take it to a different computer, and do a disk part and a clean command and reset it. And then with it clean, put it back in, and then try and install Windows fresh on it. That may be where we're at. I would hate to have to take that out. I wish I could boot and reset it without having to take it out to do that. I'm just trying to think if I have something bootable to do that for us. Hmm. Again, it's really not that big of a deal to swap a drive, but because of the ribbon cables and all those little wires and everything, it's such a hassle. Having it more, designed to be more user accessible, it seems like they put more emphasis on how the device works and the fact that it could be, the smallest package possible for that AMD Ryzen 7 that they didn't consider troubleshooting, repair, and upgrading as being that high up on the list by comparison. That was not their first foremost priority here. They put a lot of effort into designing this beautiful case. And can I do a dispart from the troubleshooting command prompt? I don't think so. Use a Windows USB to boot and choose repair. I mean, that's not a bad idea. But based on what I'm seeing, I don't think a repair is going to work. But sure, taking it back apart, wiping it, and doing a clean install is going to work either. And because this is not the same Windows 11 that they used, the repair may have to be on the same media for that to work. But same media version. You could try it. Okay, F2 some more. Boot override. SanDisk. Windows 11 flash drive. Pair your computer. Shoot your PC. Startup repair. Advanced. Troubleshoot. Command prompt. Disk part. Disk. Oh, it's only showing the flash drive. Wah, wah. Okay. Plug. Here. On. That didn't work. Blue screen. Okay, well, you're lucky. Oh, that booted a lot faster to the flash drive. That's more what I would call normal. Install. Next. Custom. Holy macaroni. Wow. Wow. There's definitely something funky happening here. Oh, now it just finished. Refresh again. Wow, now it's not detecting drives again. All right. Well, that's a bummer. So, let's see. Let's go back over to camera 1 here. I think I've done all I can do. That Samsung drive is new, that 2242 drive, and it's all partitioned crazy. I think there may be a bad part on one of the boards here, likely on the bottom half. I think I'm going to reach out to XULU and see if they'll just send me the bottom of the board. Because I think our problem is somewhere on the bottom half. Or they can just send me another unit. I don't know that I can repair this beyond what I've already done. I, as a technician, enjoy working on things while they're outside of the case. But this design makes that impossible because I have to keep hooking everything back up for every test. The 3 effective things I've done by taking out the drive, putting in the original drive, changing the RAM, taking the original drive back out, putting the replacement back in, all should have taken 20 minutes tops. And here we are now going on 3 hours. It's just very, very labor intensive and difficult because of this design. You know, and again, if it worked, I probably would have a different attitude towards it because I wouldn't have gone into it. Why would I need to? Other than to, you know, maybe slide the cover off and take a look at the design and see where the RAM and storage are. I wouldn't actually take it apart any further than that. And so I would think, hey, that's a really cool computer. But now that I've been, you know, forced into a situation of trying to repair it, and it may be something on the board that's faulty, I just don't think the design is all that unique to justify why they couldn't just make this half as tall and a little bit more traditional in the case of a mini computer, mini PC. I don't know why they had to make it skinny and tall. Unless, like I said, it was some way that you could attach the halves where they click together, or more like a plug in a socket instead of dealing with the 4 ribbon cables, which is a hassle, especially trying to feed those 4 ribbon cables through the holes. Not to mention just seating the ribbon cables down. So part of my concern here. So, and I'll make sure I send the link to XULU so they can watch this, and maybe from them watching it, maybe they'll have an idea of what's going on. I hate the idea of just sending it back to them, mostly because I don't want to wait in line at the post office and fill out all the custom forms and everything else we've got to do. But yeah. Get a B-Link GTR7. We already reviewed a GTR7, and that didn't work very well either because of the video output on it. And the same with the UM790 Pro from Vinny's Forum. That new 780M integrated GPU just isn't synchronizing correctly with any video capture cards that I have. So AMD's got to fix this. This is an AMD driver issue with those that latest 780M Radeon RDNA 3. Still a little wonky. So anyway, I'm waiting on AMD to update the drivers so the Minis Forum and B-Link GTR7 will work correctly. People that are not plugging them into capture cards probably won't experience it, but there's only 2 computers I've ever seen ever that don't talk to the capture cards. We've tried a number of different capture cards and different cables, and it's something to do with those AMD drivers. But it's a new, it's the latest, so they're going to have to work out the kinks. Feeling Shred, I wonder what kinds of games he plays. He's got to play something. This is my game. This is the best game you'll ever play right here. Find the problem and fix it. And instead of paying money so you can work for free, trying to solve a problem and get through a level, I get paid. Well, in this case, I'm not getting paid, but they send me the product to review it. The bag is great, though. No problems with the bag. All right, so let's see. I guess I'll take this back out of here. Put it back in here. What was this? Pulled this out of something. I'm saving it for some reason. I can't remember why, but I'll put it back. I'm sure it'll come to me. All right. Well, I think that'll wrap it up for today's video. It is miserably hot. It is just crazy hot here. 108. Yeah. 108 degrees Fahrenheit. I need a cooler. Let's see. Let's see. Robert Ritchie sent $20 via PayPal. Really appreciate these videos. I always pick up and learn something new. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. So I always make sure I give a thumbs up to my Amazon delivery drivers when they show up on time and they put the package by the door. They don't make me walk across the yard to get it. Sometimes they do. Oh, I got another email from Pizza Hut. All right. And Robert Bowman sent $15. Wait, $5. Robert Bowman sent $5 via PayPal. Appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for your kindness, and thank you for not buttons plastic. Thank you for not being critical of the repair process. Sometimes when you do repairs, people, there's a lot of backseat drivers, and that's of very little help in most cases. I think that this may be beyond a normal repair. This may require, soldering, desoldering, and things of that nature. So I think well, I will contact XULU. I'll point them to the video, and we'll discuss what we're going to do with it, because I really hate the idea of sending it back. I really don't want to fill out all those forms. So Chris Smith says, did you receive my gift? Did I receive a gift? No, it just went through. Was I missing something? Bob R says, I like the troubleshooting process. Thanks, Bob. Thank you for not rage quitting and smashing the box. I never would do that. That just makes it worse. Chris Smith says, email. Sent me an I have no idea what you're talking about. No. Maybe you sent it to a wrong email address? You're being very vague, so I don't know what you're talking about. Robin says, greetings from Sweden. Been watching you over 10 years. Love your channel. Thank you, Robin. John, Science Rocks with $1.99, said it was a great session and chat was awesome. Yeah, sorry I wasn't more involved in the chat today. I've been really kind of focused on this, and kind of hard to do both things at the same time, but at least you got a good feeling, of how it's put together, and what they're offering. If it's something that you think is attractive, I'm sure that this is a fluke. This is not normal. And yeah, if you have a problem with it, you have to send it back to China, but that's the way it goes with a lot of these mini PCs, unless you're buying them from Amazon. He says, I sent a gift card via email. Please check the email address. Make sure you spelled my name correctly. Sometimes people put in 2 R's, or they put a T in my last name, or they don't even use the main email address. Maybe that's why. Is it from Amazon? Yeah, there's nothing here. Check my spam folder. Nope. Just typical spam in the spam folder. So normally, as I mentioned, it's usually an email address misspelling or the wrong email. So you can go into your Amazon account and just check and verify that's where you sent it, because it's easily corrected. It's not like if you did mistype the email or send it to the wrong email, it's easy to fix it in Amazon. It's an hour ago. It's 2 hours ago. It's an hour ago. That was 2 hours ago. Okay, so I don't have any new notifications here at all. All right. Well, I think I'm out of gas. Everything feels like it's slowed down. I think that'll wrap it up for me for today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you for your contributions and your support. And over and above all, your kindness. There's just too many jerks on the internet. It's too easy to be a jerk, you know? I appreciate the people that go above and beyond and exhibit kindness and patience and support. So, Techno wants to know, is that a prototype? It is a prototype. It's not the final product. However, they would not have sent this out to me if it didn't work properly. You know what I mean? It's already past all the development stages now. They really think that this is the final design and wanted some feedback on it. But clearly, this isn't anything they would need me to point out when you can't even get Windows updates to install without the thing crashing. I also don't like that they're including all the different languages because it fills up, you know, when you look through the installed programs, we see multiple offices and multiple Microsoft OneDrives. And that's just not a good image as far as I'm concerned. But that's nothing compared to the drive issues. So, but at least we know it's heat related. And appreciate Zvi picked up on that really quickly. Douglas Burchell with $2 contributes. He says, I joined today. I can't wait to catch a Monday show. Hey, that's awesome, Douglas. We can't wait to see you there. Always live at 1 o'clock p.m. Pacific time on Mondays for our members. Blackhawk says, have a great hot day, Carrie. Do I have a choice? Yeah, I put my own Windows on this if I could get it to install, but you know, saw how far I got with that. So anyway, there gets to be a point where it doesn't make any sense to send it back. They just, you know, need to send me another unit, or they can send me a part. Because obviously, if the problem was that serious, they wouldn't have sent it to me. Why would they waste their money? So this is a one-off. Something happened. Might have happened in shipping. We don't know. Might have just been an earlier designed motherboard, and maybe the tooling wasn't refined. I mean, I don't know, but they certainly didn't seem like the problem I described was familiar to them. So it wasn't like, oh, you got, sometimes you might hear something like, oh, you got a unit that's doing that. You got one of those units. You know, that kind of implies they've seen the problem before and they're familiar with it. So it's kind of a good thing that when I emailed them about it, they seemed as baffled as me. That suggests that that's likely just whatever is causing that's a one-off and not something that would affect other units, and probably couldn't do it if they wanted to, you know, make that happen. What is this? Okay. All right, guys. Well, again, thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the PayPal contributions and the Amazon gift cards. And yeah, you'll need to order another 2242 drive. I don't think it's the drive, though. I don't really have any other way to, well, I suppose I could put it into a regular slot and test it, but that's a new drive. And given that both drives are having problems, it doesn't seem like it's a drive issue, but I don't know the other brand well enough, whatever this brand is called, Herc. Don't know. So all my friends in blue, all my members, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Folks that are in white, hey, I hope you're gonna stick around to be a regular part of our little group here. We'd love to have more friendly, kind, supportive individuals. And if you think you're one of those, always welcome here. Thank you to Camera Girl for the awesome thumbnail she did today and for the close-up work. Thank you, Cam Girl. I was saying thank you.
Oh, well, about time.
All right. No, thank you. Thank you for the close-up work. Thank you for the close-up work and the thumbnail. Okay. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all very, very soon. Some of you Monday at 1 o'clock. Until next time, bye for now. Oh. We'll do this quick one. Where'd it go? Bye.